So, what's happening?
Well, you see that? There's a camera and there's a teleprompter on it, and
No. I know what a camera is, but what are we doing here?
I think we're supposed to be talking about like movies or something like that. I don't know. I feel like the rules here are pretty relaxed.
Rules? Rules for what?
You didn't know? We're hosting a news show here.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to the first episode for this season of The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Owen DeWeese. And you are?
Gabby.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Gabby. I'm your co-host here on The Real Deal.
No, I gathered that, but what am I really supposed to be doing here?
I don't really know.
I do!
What? Who are you?
It's Steve Klein. I'm the ghost of UML, and I'm here to help.
Awesome, cool.
No, this is not chill. What is happening? You're a ghost?
Yes, my lady. I'm Sir Harrison, and I'm here to help.
What?
And that's where we go to the first segment.
Hello, Real Deal Nation. I'm Nathan Hill, here to talk about a film celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, Osmosis Jones. It's been 20 years since the live-action animation hybrid burst onto the scene, much like Bill Murray's enormous zit in one of the film's most disgusting scenes. Added to Netflix on the 1st of September, the film is the second to last released by Warner Brothers Feature Animation before its closure. The fact that the animation studio was punished for the project's minimal box office returns has always been interesting, considering nearly everyone who has seen the film will tell you that the animated segments are far and away the best part of the film. The film has two protagonists. In the live-action segments, Bill Murray plays Frank, a widower driven to overeating and uncleanliness by his wife's death. The animated segments, we have Chris Rock playing the titular Jones, an anthropomorphized white blood cell living inside Frank as a police officer, among a host of other personified bodily functions. Sadly, only one of the heroes is charming enough to support a movie, and surprisingly it isn't the one played by Bill Murray. All of Frank's scenes either spent watching Frank wallow in his own filth or interacting with his daughter by Alina Franklin or her teacher, Molly Shannon, neither of which he has much chemistry with. To make up for this, the film is injected with unpleasant gross-out humor, such as delightful scenes where Bill Murray vomits on Shannon, eats a banana out of a chimp's cage, and the aforementioned exploding zit scene, again at the expense of Shannon. Luckily, the animated segments are not only infinitely more creative than the gross-out antics of Bill Murray, they also make up a majority of the film's runtime. A fun but relatively standard buddy cop story between Jones and his newly assigned partner Drix, by David Hyde Pierce. The animated portion story is elevated by its villain, the Devilish Thrash by Lawrence Fishburne, a villain who can hold his own against any Disney Renaissance villain in this author's humble opinion, and by both its inventive body-themed imagery and its beautiful 2D theatrical animation. Crafted in the medium's dying days, the visuals combine the new opportunities provided by digital art and the artists who had honed their skills in two-dimensional theater animation over the previous decade. Despite failing to make even half of its budget back at the box office, the film enjoyed a healthy second life on home video, even doing well enough to spawn a short-lived animated series on Kids WB in the block's own twilight years. And of course, the film's focus on the human body made it a favorite in science classrooms the country over. Meanwhile, Japan's classroom probably enjoyed Cells at Work instead. In summary, while you'd be hard-pressed to find fans of Bill Murray's lifeless live-action antics, you'd be just as hard-pressed to find an audience not entranced by the animated segment's comfort food, buddy cop story, and beautiful animation. For a film that did so middlingly, both critically and commercially, Osmosis Jones has long since infected the nostalgic memories of America's millennials. The results are anything but malignant. Also, that Pikachu cameo was pretty cute.
Thanks, dude.
You are welcome, my liege.
Okay, that was cool, but how can we know you're really a ghost?
I can do this.
Huh. I guess he really is a ghost.
Well, yeah, Bill Murray said that ghosts were real.
You got me there.
Well, now that he's gone, we have to do some host stuff.
Like what? You just had that under the table?
Yeah, you never know when you might need some.
Oh, so you're like really prepared. I know someone who's really prepared. Sarah!
Hey guys, recently I've been watching the new season of Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story. The 10th season, entitled Double Feature, is split into 2 parts with 6 episodes for each. Currently, part 1, called Red Tide, is airing on FX, and though the ratings are lower than last season's, I have to say I have loved every episode so far. Red Tide follows a screenwriter named Harry, along with his pregnant wife and daughter, to Cape Cod, Massachusetts during the winter in hopes for Harry to find inspiration to write his screenplay. During their stay, they notice many of the residents in the town are drug users, some of which are pale, bald, and animalistic in nature. When Harry meets 2 other writers staying in their area, they give him a black pill that is meant to unlock the creative part of the brain for those with an artistic gift, though it does come with some severe side effects. If you're looking for something to watch, you can find Double Feature on Hulu as the episodes premiere on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. You can also catch Murphy's 3rd season of American Crime Story, called Impeachment, following Monica Lewinsky during the impeachment of Bill Clinton. After watching the first episode, I thought it fell flat compared to previous seasons, but I'm hoping as more episodes come out, it will make a great addition to the anthology. I'm Sarah Bartlett, thanks for listening. Back to Gabby and Owen.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really starting to get the hang of this.
Yeah, well, you see, I already had the hang of this whole deal because I've done this in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was one time, but it got posted onto Facebook and, no big deal, but it got 30 views.
30 views? I get more than that on my TikTok.
Okay, well, you see, dancing on TikTok is a hobby and hosting the news is a way of life.
We are both hosting the news right now. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, while I think about that, let's go ahead and hear from our next segment.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings hits theaters this past month, and I was ecstatic about it. From the movie posters to the trailers, every moment leading up to this movie was filled with anticipation and high expectations, and it did not disappoint. Ever since the announcement that Simu Liu would be playing Shang-Chi at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, Marvel fans have long anticipated this next step into the Marvel Universe. Unlike Black Widow, Shang-Chi was released exclusively in theaters, which seems to have put it on top when it comes to box office earnings and seems to be kicking off a return to the theater. Shang-Chi made $35.8 million in its second weekend of release, bringing its U.S. total to $145.6 million. Before this, Marvel still comes out on top by having Black Widow as the previous fastest film to hit $100 million. Shang-Chi was a beautiful new look into the MCU and gave a lot of background and connections to previous Marvel films all the way back to Iron Man. In its central focus being around the Ten Rings organization, we get an extensive history and culture weaved into the MCU that I am excited to see referenced in future films. The film opens around Xu Wenwu and his discovery and then successful use of the Ten Rings to conquer kingdoms and eventually build the Ten Rings Empire. In his conquest, he strives to find the ancient village of Tao Lo when he meets and battles Ying Li, the village's guardian. The two fall in love and have 2 children, Shang-Chi and Zhai Ling, played by Meng Hua Zhang. After his children are born, Wenwu retires the Ten Rings to live with his family, but his past catches up to him. Eventually, Shang-Chi runs away at 14, leaving his sister behind. We cut to modern day, post-snap, where we follow Sean about his life with his best friend Katie, played by Awkwafina. When Sean's past with his father then catches up to him, the movie just keeps getting better. Filled with beautifully choreographed fight scenes, amazing costumes, rich history, and amazingly talented cast of actors, it's no surprise that Shang-Chi is breaking records. With the introduction of Simu Liu and Awkwafina to the MCU, we also get Fala Chen as Ying Li, Shang-Chi's mother, Benedict Wong returning as Wong from Doctor Strange, Michelle Yeoh as Ying Nan, Ying Li's sister and Shang-Chi's aunt, and slight spoiler warning, but Ben Kingsley is back as Trevor Slattery, Tony Lee Young as Wenwu, and we also get fun Easter egg-like characters with Ronnie Chiang as John and Andy Lee as Death Dealer, and Zach Cherry returning as an extra who provides commentary during the bus fight scene after previously being the do-a-flip street vendor in Spider-Man Homecoming. In the end, Shang-Chi made me excited for the MCU again, and I can't wait to see what else Marvel has in store for us in Phase 4. That's all from me this week. I'm Jamie Howell.
I'm the better host.
No, I'm the better host.
You know, back in my day, I was the better host.
Shut up!
So we can both agree that we're better than him, right?
Yeah, we're better than him. Who haunts a news station anyways?
Good point. That's why we're doing the entertainment news.
Yeah, at least we're entertaining. Hey.
Speaking of entertaining,
Nice segue.
thank you. Let's hear from our last segment.
Hello everyone, I am back for an all new season of The Real Deal with different hair. Oh my gosh, wow. Anyways, today I'm here to talk to you about the thing you all know that I love oh so much, and that is the horror genre. As soon as I got back to campus, I got a concussion, and I promise this is relevant to the story. So because I'm awesome like that, I had to spend a lot of time in the dark in my room, and while I was in the dark in my room, I was also going directly against doctor's orders, and I was watching the Fear Street trilogy. So that trilogy is just amazing. First of all, it revolves around a lesbian couple which survive. That is unheard of. And in the very first movie, no person of color dies. Isn't that incredible? That's just amazing. And with this being the first in a trilogy, the movie revolves around current time, which is actually the 80s or the 90s, I can't remember. But either way, it revolves around that time. And then the second movie goes back in time 20 or 30 years, and then the very last movie goes back all the way to witch trial times, baby, which is awesome. And I love this trilogy just so much because, and the second is by far my favorite, which is saying something. I especially love in horror movies when they all die at the end. And I'm not saying that they all die at the end, but because I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I do love when that happens. Or when like a majority of the people die at the end. That is just so awesome. But back on track. If you are a fan of the horror genre and you hate the way the horror genre has been portraying women, people of color, and the LGBT plus community, then boy oh boy do I have the trilogy for you, because it is amazing and by far my favorite horror movie currently, but that changes a lot, so it's not really saying anything. And if you want to watch this movie, you can also watch it multiple times and still feel the same emotions anyways. So this movie is on Netflix, the entire trilogy is there, and I would highly recommend watching it. Whether or not you decide to do it in the dark, alone, concussed, like I did, that is completely up to you. But I will warn you to do what the doctor says and not watch horror movies in the dark, because that is no good for your concussion. But that's all I have for you. So I'm going to toss it back to our new hosts. Back to you guys.
You know what? I think I could really get the hang of this news thing.
Entertainment news. We don't have to prove anything to Harrison.
True. I think this could actually be really fun, even if you're my co-host.
No, even if you're my co-host. Hey again, kids. I'm one of your co-hosts. Today, I would like to talk to you about one of my all-time favorite movies, the 1982 Ridley Scott classic Blade Runner. For this one, I'm talking about the final cut, probably the best cut of the movie. For some reason, there were 7 of them. But this one is Ridley's most hands-on approach, released in 2007. And Harrison Ford plays the part of Rick Decker, a former police officer in 2019 Los Angeles who was hired as a Blade Runner, which is an awesome job title. And he tracks down bioengineered humans called replicants. They're basically robots, and the people of 2019 LA aren't very open-minded about it, I guess. Rick Decker is hired by a company CEO to hunt down 4 rogue replicants and retire them. That's the plot. I don't want to spoil anything, but who wants to hear about that? Let's do some neo-noir trivia. First off, the movie did not do very well in the box office, netting a very modest profit of $11.5 million. I'm using modest very loosely here. However, it debuted in theaters the same time that E.T. the Extraterrestrial and The Thing did, so they both kind of suffered to that wrinkly little monster. In my opinion, both of those movies are way better than E.T. The next bit of trivia is that the original cut was 4 hours long. I don't even have patience for my 50-minute classes. That would be torture. It was cut down before it dropped in theaters, I think, but if it's out there, I still want to watch it just out of curiosity. Overall, I'd give the movie probably like an 8 out of 10. Harrison Ford made that movie as good as it was. Anyway, that's all I have time for, so let's get back to The Thing.
What's up, guys? It's me again. Good to see you. You look great. Anyways, for my segment here tonight, I wanted to chat about a childhood favorite that I recently got to rewatch. I am, of course, talking about the wonderful Pixar film, Wally. Let me tell you guys, I had forgotten how cute Wally is. My roommates and I actually had a discussion on if Wally is the cutest created by Pixar, and I honestly couldn't think of one to fight against this claim. But I also didn't think that hard either, so I'm open to suggestion. Anywho, getting into it, Wally. This movie made me feel so many things. Mostly single, but like a lot of different emotions were felt. I cannot count on one hand the amount of times I cried during that movie. It means I cried 5+ times during a movie about a trash robot. But obviously, he is so much more than a robot. Duh, it's the whole point of the movie. Now, was the movie's intent to play with our emotions? It appears the answer to that question is yes, because the movie starts off way sadder than I remember it being. Seeing Wally driving around all cute, just making little noises, doing his little job in a completely barren wasteland, struck a place within me that I did not know existed, and I really don't want to go back there, you know? Then Eve came on screen, and I got super excited to experience the love of Wally and Eve all over again, but my memory is really not the best, guys. I forgot that Eve was low-key a massive, I'll say it. I actually found myself disliking Eve at some points, and I'm not sure if that's because I had such a huge bias towards Wally or not, except it totally was because of that, but I just did not like her that much. Sorry. That is until she redeemed herself, though. Eve totally came back and girl bossed the hell out of the second half of the movie. The second half turned into an action movie so fast. I don't want to give away any spoilers, even though it has been out for 13 years. Yeah, 13, pretty crazy. But I encourage you to also rewatch the movie. I do not want to talk your ear off about a tiny trash robot, even though I love spending time with you, but that appears to be all the time we have.
If you want more from us here at The Real Deal, you can check out our Facebook, Twitter, and website for all things entertainment. I'm your not host, Owen DeWeese.
And I'm Gabby Kramer. See you next time on The Real Deal.
Oh, and I'm...
Shut up!